Hey Krishna, are you able to see the screen?
Yes, Mataji.
Okay. This is Gopi Gita Kirtan that was done by Bhakti Charu Maharaj. We'll hear that.
तव कथामृतम् तप्त जीवनम् कविभिरीडितम् कल्मषापहम् Gaur Premanande.
It's just one more video of Maharaj, 3-minute long. We will be. You can't hear me? Hare Krishna.
We can hear you, Mataji.
We can hear you, Mataji.
Okay. So we'll be sharing one more 3-minute video about, just put together on the disappearance of Maharaj. Please, there'll be again Nilo Premadana as a background for this. So if at all, if we missed a few paragraphs last time, we can sing here.
Jayanilo Premadana Karuna Prachu Heno Prabhu Kota Gila Acharjataku Swarup Rupa Kahasanota Kahadasa Raghunatha Patita Pava
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Shatarupa, is that the end of the video?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to announce what is the next step here. We will be doing Guru Ashtaka prayers and the Arati, followed by Pushpanjali. And after that, I will begin the sharing, followed by the devotees. So please stay tuned for Guru Ashtaka prayers.
Saradava Nadadidaloka Pranaya Karunya Praptasya Kalyana Gurnanapasya Vande Guru Shri Charanarvindam Nritya Gita Madhya Madhya Manaswara Sena No Manchagamba Shutaranavato Vande Guru Shri Charanarvindam Shri Vigrahara Sananityanana Shringarananvat Viramardanado Yuktasya Bhaktam Vande Guru Shri Bhagavat Prasado Swagana Tirtha Haribhakta Sangha Kritvai Bhadritim Bhajata Sadaiva Vande Guru Shri
how do I manage this? I need a mic stand, which is that one, which is not broken. And I think I'll go and sit over there. Hare Krishna devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj. So, as promised, we are beginning our discussions for sharing of the memories about His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj from now onwards. It is supposed to go till 8:30, but if needed, we can extend it another 10-15 minutes at that point of time. I think I will be doing the first part of this. I am thinking that it's important that I share with you at least some sections from the communications I received from GBC Executive Committee, and also something from our GBC, this way Sanatama Prabhu, and also some overall highlights about Bhakti Charu Swami's life in devotion, just an overall view of his biography, followed by my own small writing glorifying Maharaj. So I think the first part, which is sharing from communications that I received from GBC Executive Committee and also from that time until 8:30, there will be plenty time to share. I have made a list of the devotees who have signed up for wanting to share their appreciation for Bhakti Charu Maharaj. That is Sri Kishore Prabhu, Raja Mohini Dasi, Vamsidhari Prabhu, Mohan Leela Prabhu, Chandana, Priyanka, and Sundari Leela and Anish. Also, probably Dhananjay Pandit Prabhu may want to say something. So that's all what we have, unless you have additional names which came afterwards. So I think considering the number of people who will be speaking, we can take about 8 minutes. And if you cannot finish within 8 minutes, maybe take a couple more. But pretty much let us try to stay within the time limits. That's all what I have to request you. So with that, I think I will begin talking something from the communications I received from GBC Executive Committee. So, His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj, a beloved disciple of Srila Prabhupada, GBC member, ISKCON initiating spiritual master, and Gaudiya Vaishnava sannyasi, passed away on the morning of July 4th due to complications related to COVID-19. He was 74 years old. Goswami, the first month of Chaturmasya and the observance of Guru Purnima. In a statement, the GBC Executive Committee, they are Ramaswamy, Bhakti Chaitanya Swami, and Bhanu Swami wrote. I'm just taking only small sections from what they wrote. They are saying, it is with overwhelming heartache that we announce to you the departure of our beloved God brother and the dearmost servant of Srila Prabhupada, His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami. There are no words that provide solace when facing separation from such a glorious Vaishnava, but we can take some comfort in the fact that His Holiness Bhakti Charu Maharaj lived constantly in meditation on how to serve Srila Prabhupada and his mission. Undoubtedly, he now continues that service under the direction of His Divine Grace. Anuttama Das Prabhu, who served with Bhakti Charu Maharaj on the GBC and the Mayapur Executive Committee, reflected the following. Bhakti Charu Swami was one of the most dear disciples of Srila Prabhupada. Although he came to ISKCON at the later years of Prabhupada's physical presence, he became connected personally with Srila Prabhupada very quickly. And he had much of Prabhupada's association during Prabhupada's last months. He has always been one of the most beloved members and leaders of our movement. He was dearly loved and will be greatly missed. The Executive Committee continues, let us offer true homage to Maharaj by continuing his legacy of service to our own lives. Service in our own lives. Let us commit ourselves, mind, body, and soul, to the service of Srila Prabhupada, following in the footsteps of his beloved servant, His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami. We also commit ourselves as Maharaj's servants to assist and care for his loving disciples in his absence. It was very important to Maharaj that we operate as one family in Srila Prabhupada's service. And we remind you today that although Maharaj is no longer physically present, you are protected by the shelter of many devotees who are ready to offer you the support you may require at this difficult time and in the future. So that same thought process goes for us also, for all Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj's disciples, or someone who had very close interaction with Maharaj, who are all experiencing a lot of grief. We are here to serve you. So I will just go through a very brief outline of Bhakti Charu Maharaj's life in devotion. Reading this, I felt that the Maharaj's accomplishments were so many that I don't think that we can do justice by speaking about it in such a short time. I'm just going to give only very short highlights. Maharaj was born in Bengal in 1945, and he spent most of his early life in the city of Calcutta. In 1970, he left to study chemistry in Germany. There, he came across the Vedic literatures, and he understood India's spiritual heritage. And 75, he went back to India, and he wanted to actively pursue his spiritual life. So he became aware of the need for a spiritual master. It looks like he had gone to the Himalayas and other places searching for that guru, but he didn't find anyone. And eventually he came across the Nectar of Devotion written by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. And he became very engrossed in that book. He realized that he found his spiritual master, and so he continued to read Prabhupada's books. And in late 1976, in 75 he returned to India. 76, Maharaj joined ISKCON temple in Mayapur, and he became involved in the devotional service of the Lord. But he was waiting for Srila Prabhupada to come. And Srila Prabhupada came to Mayapur in 1977 January. So it is very interesting. During that meeting, first meeting, Srila Prabhupada gave Bhakti Charu Swami the assignment of translating his books into Bengali, and then made him his secretary for Indian affairs. Then Srila Prabhupada gave Maharaj first and second initiation simultaneously in Mayapur on Gaura Purnima, that is March. So Prabhupada came in January, and he already made Bhakti Charu Swami, he gave him his assignment, and in 3 months, by Gaura Purnima, 1977, he gave him first and second initiation. And 3 months later, Srila Prabhupada awarded him the renounced order of sannyas. All of this demonstrates a remarkable investment of authority and blessings from Srila Prabhupada to have occurred in such a short period of time. It is so amazing that in 1966, Maharaj came to Mayapur 1976, and 77 he met Prabhupada, and within 3 months' time he was first and second initiated, and next 3 months he was already sannyas initiated. So Maharaj traveled with and personally served Srila Prabhupada for the final year of Prabhupada's life. After Srila Prabhupada's departure from the world in 1977, Maharaj served in Mayapur for several years while the society was going through a critical phase. And that is again another interesting feature that I read again in other places, that whenever there was some crisis in ISKCON, he was always there and he could resolve those issues. He never hesitated to face these problems, or he never hesitated to address the issues and take care of the problems. That was one of his great services. In 87, Bhakti Charu Maharaj became initiating guru in ISKCON, and he joined society's governing body commission, serving as its chairman in 1988 and again in 2017, 2 times. 1995, Maharaj had translated into Bengali all of Prabhupada's work. That is also amazing, because 1977 is when Prabhupada gave the assignment. 1995, Maharaj had already translated all of Prabhupada's book into Bengali. 50 volumes of books, including Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Nectar of Devotion, just as Srila Prabhupada instructed him in their very first meeting. In 1996, Maharaj took on the great task of making a biographical video epic on the life of his spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada, entitled Abhay Charan. This video series was broadcast on national television in India and distributed globally on DVD. I still remember this during my early days in Chicago in the 1990s. I think it was 1996. This series became available, and we used to look forward for the next volume to be published. I still remember those days. In 2004, an invitation of Chief Minister of Madhya Pradesh. Following that invitation, Maharaj built this wonderful temple in Ujjain. Ujjain is the ancient and holy city. It is also known as Avantika. This is the place where Krishna and Balaram went to school. So the extraordinary marble temple that Maharaj built, it has 3 large altars for the worship of Sri Sri Radha Madan Mohan, Sri Sri Krishna Balaram, and Sri Sri Gauranitai. And they have a Goshala for cow protection, a midday meal facility for school children, a rural program to spread Vedic culture to village people, and several outreach centers in Bhopal and Indore. Bhakti Charu Swami also served as the ISKCON governor for France and South Africa at a time when these zones were facing immense difficulties. Through perseverance, he was able to turn the situation in those locations around. In 2007, Maharaj began an altar production facility in Ujjain. The facility manufactures beautiful deity altars of all shapes and sizes for temples and devotees globally. So many temples have made use of that and is continuing to make use of that facility that Maharaj has established. In 2013, Bhakti Charu Maharaj began development of a new ISKCON temple in Panipati. This is a very holy place in the Gaudiya Vaishnava tradition where Raghava Pandit had his home and Lord Nityananda held his chipped rice festival. 2014, Maharaj established Arogya Niketan. This is a Ayurvedic facility in Ujjain. Similarly, he also joined in the Artha Forum and began developing keynote speeches globally on spirituality to large audiences of business leaders. So one is the Ayurvedic establishment, the other one is Artha Forum, specifically meant for business leaders. Under his direction, the Ujjain ISKCON temple feeds more than 23,000 school children per day from its 6,000 square feet industrial kitchen. At one point, Maharaj also served as the chairman of Annamrita Foundation, ISKCON's midday meal program, which feeds over 1 million children across India every day. Maharaj also served twice as chairman of GBC Executive Committee and was the GBC Zonal Secretary for ISKCON in Mayapur, Calcutta, Ujjain, Bhubaneswar, Bangladesh, and Seattle. For decades, he traveled across India, US, UK, South Africa, the Middle East, and Australia, holding spiritual retreats and seminars, and fulfilling Srila Prabhupada's instruction to him to spread the teachings of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Maharaj was also known for his beautifully melodic kirtans and his insightful classes on the Vedic scriptures. In 2016, Bhakti Charu Maharaj released his memoir, Ocean of Mercy, A Search Fulfilled, in which he recollects his intimate interactions with Srila Prabhupada. The book describes how he developed a genuine love and dedication for Srila Prabhupada, who gave him a life of Krishna Bhakti. On November 17, 2016, the Institute of International Social Development, New York, an NGO in special consultative status with an Economic and Social Council of United Nations, awarded to Bhakti Charu Maharaj. He received an award from them for the display as a display of their gratitude for all the support he gave them on behalf of ISKCON in spreading the message of spirituality for world peace and understanding between nations and civilizations. 2018, Bhakti Charu Swami served his last term as chairman of the GBC, reminding all senior leaders who served with him of his caring mood and selfless devotion to Srila Prabhupada and the ISKCON society. So that's from, that is a very brief outline of Maharaj's accomplishment in his devotional career, and I'm sure volumes can be spoken about that. So as promised, I will share with you my own memories about His Holiness Bhakti Charu Maharaj. I heard someone speak that Bhakti Charu Maharaj, I think before I say my appreciation, let me offer my prayers to my Guru Maharaj. Om Atnana Timirandasya Atnananjali Salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So I heard someone speak that Bhakti Charu Maharaj had such a personality. He had such a sweet smile, an endearing personality that anyone who met Maharaj one time never forgot him. And that was my experience also. We moved here to Chicago late 80s, and my memories are from early 1990s. Maharaj used to visit Chicago temple quite often, and it is around that time my own spiritual master, His Holiness Ramapad Swami, also became GBC here, and His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj also used to frequently visit ISKCON Chicago. But there was something unique the way in which Bhakti Charu Maharaj interacted with the community members in ISKCON Chicago congregation. They reciprocated to this warmth and kindness shown by Maharaj. He could guide them and he could correct them, their mistakes directly. I personally saw this, that how people used to come around him and they loved him so much, and he was not hesitant in correcting the mistakes, and everyone willingly accepted it. He would have a gentle smile on his face, and they were willing to hear from Maharaj. So I was reading a couple of times in the biography that where there were conflicting situations in ISKCON in various parts of the world, Maharaj was there to resolve those issues. And that's something I remembered in ISKCON Chicago also, that ISKCON Chicago was not an exception to the rule, that Maharaj was always there when we needed him to address issues with the community members. And during the 90s, one of the significant things I remember is this production of the Abhay Charan video, 1996. It started getting released, and Maharaj used to come here quite frequently. And we used to look forward for the next edition. When was it going to be released? And I met Maharaj a couple of times. I heard many of his classes, and he would always smile very kindly and very gently. But I never personally went and talked with him. But just that smile and kindness alone, it stayed very deep in my heart. It is at that time also I came to know Radha Sundari Devidasi, who was his personal secretary, who traveled with him and assisted Maharaj in his production of this video series. Around that time, I was hearing various lectures, and some of the select lectures that I heard was of Bhakti Charu Maharaj, and particularly the tapes. Those days, everything used to be on tapes, and his tapes on Vaishnava etiquette. It was a course that he conducted in Vrindavan Research Institute, I think, and we got these tapes, and that was one of the tapes I regularly listened. And I think I heard somewhere that that course that he conducted, I still have the booklet from that, which came from Vrindavan. And I understand that this Vaishnava etiquette course that he conducted, it is still a very popular one. So there is no end in glorifying such an exalted Vaishnava. So I will briefly outline some of the striking features that stood out in my mind. his profound knowledge of scriptures, his mood of service to the Vaishnavas, his social grace in interacting with everybody, including GBC, his god brothers and god sisters, and his enthusiasm in cooking and serving prasadam. I also heard that when GBC meetings were going on, he would personally prepare prasadam and serve everybody. His wonderful singing, when the Tava Kathamritam, the song of the Gopis, Gopi Gita was released. It was such a popular song, it still is, and we can never think of that song without connecting it with Bhakti Charu Maharaj. Maharaj used to say three important things. One was never to leave ISKCON, and the second one was to follow GBC, and the third one, which Prabhupada himself said, that your love for me will be shown by how you cooperate with each other. So because of the kind mood of service that Maharaj carried to the Vaishnavas, he was very dear to all of his god brothers and god sisters. And not only that, unlimited number of devotees all over the world, wherever he traveled, and he traveled quite a bit. So the whole Vaishnava world was praying for Maharaj while he was in the hospital. So one of the important lessons in his passing away that came to my mind was that if you are dear to Vaishnavas, and naturally you will be dear to Krishna. How is that? Because when so many devotees are praying, how can Krishna not hear that prayer? And that's what happened during the time when Maharaj was hospitalized. And so Krishna must have heard everyone's prayers, and Maharaj is in the association of Srila Prabhupada and Krishna. So one last thing is for me to say is to give reassurance to all of Maharaj's disciples and close associates who are deeply impacted by his departure, to let all of you know that we are here to serve you in any way possible to alleviate your pain. So carrying on the mood of service that Maharaj exhibited to Srila Prabhupada and ISKCON, and his vision, which is carrying on his service and his vision, we should be doing that. And that is the best way to serve him. And we will miss him dearly. We will miss him very much, but he will live in our hearts as a shining example of what a devotee should be. So that's where I'm going to stop. And as I said, we have, thank you again for giving me this opportunity to speak. And I will call the names of the devotees who have communicated that they would like to speak. I will call the name of Sri Kishore Prabhu first. Again, our time was till 8:15, but we will extend it till 8. What was the time? Till 8. Let me just see. Originally, we had it till, oh, it is till 8:30. Our time was till 8:30, but if needed, we can extend it a little further. If it is possible to speak within 8 minutes, that will be perfect. We may not have to extend this in that case. So I think I will call Sri Kishore Prabhu first, and following that will be Braja Mohini Mataji. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna. Actually, my wife Brajamohini Devi has got some urgent work, and she may not be able to present her offering, so I am presenting it on her behalf as well. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Radhanatha Swamiti Namini Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Charu Swamin iti namine Snigdha Cheta Supranita Vangmanim cha Rasavrita Prabhupada Gata Prana Naumi Bhakti Charupadam Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin iti namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunyanti Paschatya Desaparane. I would like to read an offering which I had written some time back. Respected Bhakti Charu Maharaj, my heart is not yet able to digest the fact that you are no more present physically on the surface of this globe. Although I haven't interacted much with you personally, you have been very close to my heart, especially through your kirtans, through some of your disciples who have been closely associated with my family, and through some of my god brothers who have been closely associated with your holiness. I have repeatedly heard a statement in your lectures, which you often quote as Srila Prabhupada's personal instruction to you. Whatever may happen, do not leave ISKCON. When I heard this statement from your divine mouth, my faith in Srila Prabhupada increased multifold. I made a resolution in my heart that I will never leave ISKCON too, and as a consequence, my fault-finding tendencies have drastically come down. As a result, I started appreciating the good qualities in many devotees without being much affected by their apparent faults. One of the sentences in your Pranati mantra, Prabhupada Gata Prana, inspires me the most. While you are embodiment of this particular line, you inspired many others to live by this. You have been an excellent manager, great cook, melodious singer, transforming speaker, yet very humble and down to earth. Your vision in terms of uniting many ISKCON temples after Srila Prabhupada's departure shows your extreme farsightedness. Also, your sweet and personal dealings with your disciples and any devotee in general is an example of your humility. I remember two incidences where I got a little bit of your association, directly or through my family members. One was when my wife Rajamohini Devi met you in Mayapur when she was carrying Uddhav. She had mentioned that she felt deeply touched by your gesture of prayers when she had met you. Also, my entire family attended one of your programs in Bangalore. There was a kirtan followed by a lecture. Uddhav was hardly 1 year old, but your kirtan mesmerized him beyond limits. We could see that he, like all of us and many other devotees, was rolling in ecstasy hearing your divine kirtan. Your kirtan is one of the most favorite things for my entire family, Maharaj. Your contribution in many ISKCON projects, where you literally protected them from being auctioned, shows your loyalty for Srila Prabhupada. Your Ujjain temple project will be forever remembered by the current and future generations of ISKCON, which also shows your expert managerial abilities and fundraising capacity. Your Abhaycharan video will inspire millions of newcomers and devotees in our movement and perpetuate the legacy of Srila Prabhupada. Today, your disappearance has left a great void in my heart, as in the heart of many devotees in ISKCON. I pray that a drop of your love for Srila Prabhupada may manifest in my heart also, so that I can become a true servant of your spiritual master and our preeminent Siksha Guru, Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much. Your servants, Sri Kishore Das, Rajamohini Dasi, and
Thank you, Prabhu. I think Rajamohini is wanting to say something.
Actually, she went to attend to Radhika Mataji, so she was like she wanted to speak something, but something came up and she had to go. Maybe
Okay.
if it permits, she will come and join sometime later. That's what she said.
Okay, in that case, we will move on with Vamshidhari Prabhu, followed by Mohan Leela Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshur Pranmilitamena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Please accept my most humble obeisances, devotees, Aglo Srila Prabhupada. I didn't have much association, but whatever association I had with Bhakti Charu Maharaj was very, it stayed with me. So I first came across Maharaj Association through a service I was doing. Actually, I was trying to convert the cassettes into digital copies from a retreat that happened in Chicago, like way back, like 10 years back. So in one of the classes, Maharaj was explaining how to connect with different spiritual masters in ISKCON. And in that he was saying that that it's like having more uncles. Like if you have more uncles, you'll get more chocolates from them. So that was that perspective was really inspiring. I was it was very helpful at the time at the phase of my Krishna consciousness to see various spiritual masters in ISKCON as uncles, and then having more uncles is more mercy and more blessings. So that stayed with me. I did attend his classes in Mayapur, and he also came to Naperville a couple of years back. But this instructions was very dear and very close to me. Through that, I feel relationship with him. So in honor of his disappearance in this world, I want to commit, and I want to take the instruction Maharaj received to never leave ISKCON to my heart, and commit for that to never leave ISKCON, because I see ISKCON as international organization, and there are many things that happen. Some may fit into the understanding or not understanding. Some may fit into your psychophysical nature or not. But want to stay. So I want to pray for his mercy. I want to pray. I want to take it to my heart. So whether I understand the situation or not, never to leave ISKCON. And secondly, my spiritual master Rompada Maharaj has been so much appreciating about his very strong, dedicated service to Srila Prabhupada. Actually, he was being asked like how to understand the situation he left the world, and Rompada Maharaj was very nicely explaining like what else do we want, like whole world was praying for him. So Rompada Maharaj was encouraging us to be nice devotee like that, nice Vaishnava, as Premananda Mataji also said. So on this occasion, I appeal to my uncle Bhakti Charu Maharaj to blessed drop the service mode to really work for the pleasure of Srila Prabhupada and spiritual master, and also be a insignificant instrument in pleasing and engaging in beneficial activities for the Vaishnavas. Thank you, Mataji and devotees, for giving me this opportunity. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Vamshidhari Prabhu. I think then I request Mohan Leela Prabhu to speak. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, can you hear me? Haribo?
Yes, Prabhu, we can hear you.
Oh, yes, Prabhu. Okay. Thank you, Prabhu. Confirming. Yeah. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Charu Swami Nitanamane. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitanamane. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvisesha Shunyapadi Paschata Desatarane Vancha Kalpatarubhya Shikripa Sindhubhyo Chapattana Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha. So Hare Krishna, I personally didn't have much direct interaction with Maharaj, but he did have some influence in my devotional life. So I want to take this opportunity to express my gratitude to Maharaj by sharing at least, there were at least 4 different uh, in different ways in which he played a significant role in my life, in my devotional life. So when I first started my Krishna consciousness, I started it in New Jersey. And in New Jersey, we were doing the Bhakti Vriksha modules and whatnot. Once we finished our Bhakti Vriksha modules, we were deciding on, which one should we, that was my initial stage of Krishna. That's when I was just coming to know about Krishna consciousness. Then our Bhakti Vriksha leader, he suggested that we should do Vaishnava etiquette manual. And Vaishnava etiquette manual was actually composed by His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami. So it was very inspirational, to see, to go through that exercise of understanding the Vaishnava etiquette, because, as a neophyte devotee, and it became pretty much a guideline for me, how one should behave, in different circumstances, how one should behave with other devotees, how one should behave in the temple and whatnot. So it had become a very, very good foundation for me to go through the Vaishnava etiquette manual. And it's also a gentle reminder, for me to go back and revise, what is the etiquette. So I felt that was one of the very most significant contributions that Maharaj played directly in my devotional life. And then also there were a few devotees who were disciples of Maharaj in New Jersey. One of the very inspirational couple for me, they are very, very elderly couple, older than Maharaj actually, but they dedicated their life completely. He was a very accomplished scientist and whatnot, but they dedicated their life for the, for the mission of Srila Prabhupada. And they used to stay in the temple, run, His Grace Vrindavan Chandra Prabhu. So they used to help run the temple, deity worship, and everything. Yashomati Mataji, she was regularly engaged in deity worship. I always wondered, what was their inspiration and what, why did it, why they did it like that. And I could directly see the connection, after several years, I came to know that they were Bhakti Charu Swami's disciples and how much love and affection they had towards their Guru Maharaj. They actually played a significant role in my life. So indirectly through his disciples, it is said that the fruit is, the fruit of the tree, is the example. And that's how I got influenced by them. And obviously, listening to Maharaj lectures is very sweet. As I watched lectures across the globe, Maharaj would give seminars, here and there. So I came across a few seminars, and the way Maharaj speaks, I think that really touched my heart. He very softly, gently speaks and very smoothly, and he gives deep insights into, in his classes. So it was very influential. The last one that really touched me is, when Maharaj visited here in Naperville, Her Grace Premadharani Mataji asked one question. For some reason, that question always stuck to me in my heart. And you could see, as different devotees are sharing the pastimes of Maharaj, you can see that same consistent message. The question asked by Premadharani Mataji was, and Maharaj was talking about surrender. And when Maharaj was talking about surrender, we all know, right? When we surrender to Krishna, and we devote our life to Krishna, we go back home, back to Godhead. But Premadharani Mataji's question was, Maharaj, yes, it is important to surrender to Krishna and develop that relationship. How does surrender to an organization play a role in us achieving our goal of life? I thought it was a question in a different dimension, because often we think just surrender to Krishna. But the way Maharaj answered that question, that how surrendering to the organization established by Srila Prabhupada and by accepting that ISKCON, how we are taking shelter of the founder Acharya. So it becomes, Prabhupada's responsibility for us. And, so I don't remember the exact answer, but it did have a profound, deep impact on me on committing to be, a member of ISKCON, like Vamsidhari Prabhu mentioned. So that definitely had a big impact in me, how we should always cooperate, and no matter, what, how things can come across, but still, let us all be surrendered to the movement that Srila Prabhupada gave, the facility that Srila Prabhupada gave. I think that had a very big impact. So these are the 4 things that really Maharaj touched my heart. So in saying that, I seek the blessings of Maharaj, and I hope to be continue to be inspired by Maharaj through his Vani and his example and whatnot. And like Vamsidhari Prabhu said, be committed to the movement given by Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much. His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj ki jai.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, are you finished?
Yes, Mataji, I'm finished, Mataji. You can go to the next person.
Okay, Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mohan Leela Prabhu. I am going to request Dhananjay Pandit Prabhu, His Grace Dhananjay Pandit Prabhu to speak, following which we can have Chandana to say a few words. Dhananjay Prabhu, you ready? We cannot hear him. I think his mic is not on. Can you turn on the mic? What happened? I'm not seeing. Where is your? Okay. You got it? Speak. What's happening? Here, mic. Yes.
Hare Krishna.
I don't keep so close. I cannot see your face.
Hare Krishna.
This is how it is showing. Keep it away from you.
Still not, but that doesn't have to
You
be,
can
but
sit
only
there.
if they can hear, that is good. Hare Krishna, can you all hear?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yes,
Yeah, thank you very much for acknowledging. Okay. Om Ajnanathimmirandasya Jnananjana Salakya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj, I had a lot of interaction while the Abhay Charan was shot in Hyderabad. And there's so many personal interactions with His Holiness. And only one I will share as the time permits. That was a mid-90s, and the Abhay Sharan shooting was going on in Hyderabad. And all the crew members, means all the actors, and other technicians, everybody was stationed in Minister Road. There was our God Brothers apartment, 3-story apartment building, and then all of them were stationed there. And Maharaj was just a bit away, maybe 5 minutes driving distance from there he was staying, and in one of the hotels there, and then he was all by himself. And then Mahashanga Prabhu asked me, Prabhu, please take this Rajbhog Prasad for Maharaj, he is in room number so-and-so. And then I went there and I just knocked on the door. And of course, before that, we just generally met in the temple and several occasions, Maharaj. But that was my first personal meeting, Maharaj. At the moment he opened, as you all know, such a beaming smile and so nice and so kind, compassionate. He welcomed me, and I just said, I'm Dhananjay Pandit Das, and then His Grace Mahashanga Prabhu asked me to give this to you, Maharaj. Oh, and then he just pronounced my name as if he was known to me for ages. I mean, there was no kind of thing. The way he's so kind and compassionate and so welcoming and so dear, you feel that accessibility to him anywhere, whenever, wherever you see him, and the way he smiles, it is really, really, I mean, something very, very wonderful to remember. Even now I can remember the way he used to smile, the way he used to receive, like that. And then he asked me, what are your services that you are doing here? So intimate, like that. Then he just, after that, Maharaj, can I serve you this? No, I will help myself. You may have your services. You can go back, and I'm okay with that. And like that, that was the first interaction, personal interaction with Maharaj like that. And the second one was when his disciple and then life members near Bagilingampally, Hyderabad, the park was there, and then this is another kind of thing that was library plus auditorium was there. Damodar Sanjay Auditorium, perhaps that is the name. Maybe I may be misquoting that, but that was the name there. That was the auditorium wherein Maharaj's felicitation program was organized there by that life member, and all that. I think one of those things that records were also inaugurated that time. Maharaj sang those songs, and that was the CDs were also just inaugurated that time, if I really remember rightly. So that was the time. There were a lot of devotees all over from Hyderabad temple and Secunderabad temple. All of us were there, and then the program was after the program. I had an opportunity to talk to Maharaj. I just went, just I spoke to him, and he was so kind, and as usual, as if he just remembers everything that during the course of time, right from the time I met him there, like that. He is so welcoming, and always that the personal touch that he speaks to us in that such a way that we have so intimate connection with him for so many years like that. That was another one. And then during my visits to Calcutta, one of those visits that I had to go to Maharaja's place there, where his disciples were all staying, and then all this the shooting for Rabbi Charan was going on. I had to get some of the things from that place to Hyderabad temple. And then that was another occasion where I had personal interaction with Maharaj. He was personally taking care whatever I needed to take to Hyderabad. He gave me, and he asked his disciples to make sure that I got everything, whatever was to be taken back to Hyderabad. So there also he was so kind and compassionate. The way he spoke to me, he just said, "Are you all okay? All set? Everything is fine." Oh, you feel that so much intimacy when Maharaj speaks that to us, and when he just gives his kind of he pats us and then takes us to is that close. He always whenever I had that interaction with Maharaj, that was a thing like that. And another one was like during we had late 90s, then we had those the Pune Yatras and Maftalal building, and that was the time where Maharaj had his own Radhanaswami Maharaj had at least a dozen of his god brothers and god sisters there available with him, seated on the dais, all listening. So when the program is going on, as we all know, Maharaj, his own Radhanaswami Maharaj was glorifying his own Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj for all his wonderful things that he has been very he's been very dear most disciples of one of the dearmost disciples of His Divine Grace Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, and the way he, how he came in contact and how Maharaj served him personally, and until his last, until he departed from this mortal world. Srila Prabhupada's personal servant he was, and he was very closely with his Prabhupada, and all that Maharaj was glorifying. And all the while, all others who were seated on the dais were all, and Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj was smiling, smiling, smiling. And after all that, and again, when Maharaj's turn came, His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj's turn came, he was on and on, going on, praising, and all the things that Maharaj, His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj did. And there, after just Maharaj could not stand all that praise more than 3 to 4 minutes, and he just somehow, in a pretext or somebody calling or something, Maharaj left. Then he was just like that, Maharaj, Maharaj, please don't go. You can't go like that. We can't go like that. Please come back. Please come back. He was just looking at him the way Maharaj was walking very fast, and he was just calling him. Then everybody was laughing like anything, just like that. But he after that continued all that. Like this is such wonderful things that I have so many things to remember about him. And during those the shootings that was Abhay Charan shootings were carried on in the Hyderabad temple and elsewhere like that. So there are so many things like that. He's been very, very inspirational, and he's always kind, compassionate to anybody who he never, we never means I never felt that I only knew him for a couple of months or something like that. But then right from the first meeting until last, whenever we had an opportunity to talk to him, that was the same affection, so nice, kind and compassionate. So it is really, of course, the ISKCON society, it's a great loss in, I mean, Maharaj's departure from this world. And of course, but his all wonderful things like the sweetness of Bengali language, and his that is, it can be hard when he speaks, and all those wonderful things Maharaj's, the nectarian, this singing of those uh, this Gopi Geet, these are all really wonderful, that everyone definitely will relish those things. And it is, I mean, they, during our lifetime, those things can never be forgotten about and the sweetness of Maharaj's songs and the kirtans, whatever, all that he left behind. So thank you all very much. With this, I take leave of this. Thank you all. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you so very much. I think now to speak, followed by Priyanka.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Om Jnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshunamritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Please accept my humble obeisances. I'm not really very qualified to speak about Bhakti Charu Maharaj at all, since unfortunately I have not had the opportunity to have personal association with Maharaj. My association has been with his Vani, and that too over social media. However, just for my purification, I thought I would take this opportunity to glorify a wonderful Vaishnava, although I'm, completely insignificant. I started to listen to Maharaj's lectures some years ago, and that was mainly to connect the teachings, from ISKCON to my Bengali relatives. So I was looking for Bengali lectures, and I came across Maharaj's, and I really got hooked to them. His lectures were so simple, so sweet, so inspiring, and his kirtan, I mean, everybody's talked about it. And most importantly, while he was way up there, right? But he seemed so personable, so kind. He would always start his lectures asking everyone, how are they doing? If there were large seminars and retreats, he would ask, is everybody comfortable? Are the arrangements good? Is the prasad good? I mean, he just seemed so approachable, and yet, so knowledgeable about spiritual subjects as well as material subjects. I mean, he seemed like he was really going to, help the disciple across that bridge from this material entanglement into the spiritual world. I mean, because he just seemed to be an expert at everything. I used to wonder whether it was just the Bengali connection, because I loved his Bengali classes as well. So I started to find out a little more about him. So some things I learned along the way, some from his book, The Ocean of Mercy, and of course a lot during these past few weeks. So I found out that he was a master in chemistry. He had hitchhiked all over Europe and the Middle East, actually, in search, right? When he came back from Germany, he went around the Himalayas to many ashrams looking for gurus. He multiple experiences he talks about in this book. And then, of course, when he read the Nectar of Devotion, he knew he had found his guru. And he shaved, I believe it was the next day, he shaved off his hair, threw away his regular clothes, and said that, I'm kind of surrendering, and I'm going to be a brahmachari at the temple. And while he was doing various services, he still hadn't met Prabhupada. He met Prabhupada only at Prayag, as Mataji was explaining. And first instruction was to translate, became his secretary and personal servant. Prabhupada, I mean, the story goes that Prabhupada wanted him to travel with him wherever he went. He went to Mumbai, and while the other senior devotees wanted him to do other services around Back to Godhead magazine and things like that, because he was an educated a Bengali devotee. He was able to deal with the administrative work and the offices and all that as well. But Prabhupada wanted him to go along with him. So wherever, I mean, in that small duration, Prabhupada just wanted him along with him everywhere. So as Mataji was explaining, on Gaur Purnima, first and second initiation happened together. His name at that time was Kirchora Gopinath, was the name given to him. And then in Snan Jatra, so in another 3 months, he was supposed to get sannyas. At that time, apparently many senior devotees actually objected and said that he's too new, what if he falls? And Srila Prabhupada's response to that, and this was not from the books, but it was, I think, one of the other Maharajas were talking about it, that if he falls, he will fall into goodness. Don't worry about that. So, and Prabhupada actually, once he got his sannyas initiation, Prabhupada actually told him that now you can initiate this, you can have your own disciples, you can initiate, although not while your guru is alive. Right? So again, some senior devotees in their memorials mentioned that Prabhupada actually gave that direct instruction that he would be able to initiate and be a guru only to a handful of his disciples. One of the other things that I understand Prabhupada had asked Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj was, give this life to Krishna. You've lived so many lives, gone through so many things. You've tried to enjoy your sense enjoyment, etc. And how has that helped you? Just try, give this life to Krishna. And that's one message, along with be loyal to ISKCON, never leave ISKCON. Give this life to Krishna is another message that he used to constantly give to his disciples, his followers. And of course, again, his several of the senior devotees have mentioned that, oh, he was the Prabhupada man. So one very heart-touching incident was when Prabhupada left his body. Maharaj continued to serve him. We know of how Prabhupada was taken to the various temples and parikrama, his transcendental body was. And then in the Samadhi pit, I understand Bhakti Charu Maharaj actually took him, his transcendental body down. And after everything was done and people started to throw in the salt and the soil, he still felt like he needed to serve Prabhupada and he couldn't leave there. He wanted to still stay there. And it seems Tamal Krishna Maharaj knew what was going on in his head and had to pull him out of the pit. So some of the other things that I have learned about him is his culture. He was, I believe, the minister of culture. His sense of Vaishnav culture, the spiritual culture, traditions, all of that. You're hearing more and more about that, and just amazing. The other thing, of course, is, and everybody has mentioned how hospitable he was and how he used to cook for his godbrothers and etc. So one of the incidents that is also mentioned is that apparently at one point Prabhupada had asked him to make sure that the brahmacharis have good prasad. And Prabhupada had told him that, that's the only sense gratification that they have, really. And so Prabhupada, while he used to cook for Prabhupada, and Prabhupada had taught him various preparations and things. And of course, being a Bengali, he knew many things. So with that same dedication and devotion, he used to cook, and he's used that to kind of connect with his god brothers, disciples, and etc. in addition to the Abhay Charan series and helping with reclaiming so many temples that had issues, everything that he seemed to do was with huge grandiose. Yeah. Gauranga Prabhu in one of his lectures mentioned that in Kumbh Mela at one point, where Gauranga Prabhu was in charge of the prasad and everything, Bhakti Swami Maharaj came and he said that, okay, we will put up a multimedia dome here. So that, and this was, I think, in the early 2000s or something. And Gauranga Prabhu was like, I mean, that seems like a huge thing in the middle of, but apparently he did it. He built this, he put together, he arranged this multimedia dome, and that became the central attraction. And everybody from ISKCON, I mean, other than all the lectures or everything else, or the books, and I mean, the multimedia dome was that center of attraction, attracted many people there. Then, of course, the D-Land project, which he finally came for. Personally, during the COVID lockdown is when I connected most with him. Again, social media, but during COVID, he actually conducted morning and evening classes on, one was Bhagavad Gita, the other was Uddhav Gita, one was in Bengali and the other in English. And again, such sweet classes. And before that, I had never really endeavored to reach out or try to connect with her. Never really had the opportunity either. But during these classes, there was a phone number for sending in questions. And I sent in a question at one point. And that's what got me connected to his disciple group. It was like a portal opening up with WhatsApp groups and things. And I mean, it was like, suddenly I was connected to his disciples, followers, and everything. And it was just amazing learning more and more about him. At that time, he also started a daily japa session on Zoom with all his disciples and followers. He encouraged everyone to join in on video, so they could chant with him. So another thing, he connected. I don't know if at that time he knew that he wanted to leave or what it was, but it was like a condensed session, day, morning, evening, and then the japa session. It was just amazing. Around that time, his disciples also started a daily Bhakti Charu Swami experiences and glorification session on Zoom. So every day, one or two disciples from anywhere in the world would talk about their experiences with Maharaj. And in some of, I actually joined some of those. So I realized that although he had thousands of disciples, he had given, them such wonderful association, personally helped them, cooked with them, looked after them, chastised them when appropriate, allowed them to serve him, worship him. I mean, it almost sounded like, Krishna and the rasas. It's like Krishna, someone being up there, and yet in his personal rasa, I mean, he was just there with them, guiding them, through everything, whether it be material and of course, leading them to the spiritual world, and with so much compassion. So, and so many devotees in those sessions said that Maharaj knows everything. I mean, whether it be needing to fix a car because they're stuck somewhere, or cooking or planning something, Maharaj knows what to do in any situation. He just seemed like the true, loving, and very, very capable father. And all heart. I mean, his brothers, his god brothers, have mentioned in many occasions that he's all heart. And while he has had so many accomplishments, but he's remembered most for his heart and his humility. So when it was announced that he was coming to the US, I mean, it was really scary. Everybody was like, Maharaj, why are you going, and whatnot. But I thought, okay, this is going to be my opportunity. Now I'll go meet with him in person. And of course, this happened. So I I am kind of, I know that the disciples feel cheated because he was so active, so alive just a few weeks ago, and then this happened. And the other thing is, in spite of so many, 24-hour kirtans, Narsimha homas around the globe, it was going on. Jayapataka Swami Maharaj in particular was guiding through, what people should do, the kirtans, the Narsimha Kavach recitations. He mentioned that Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj had told him when he was severely sick that you are my older brother, you have to come back. And now I have told him that if you have any say in this, you have to come back. But it's just so heartrending that nothing really worked. And we understand that obviously Krishna had some other plans. But I regret that I did not proactively reach out to him earlier with some urgency. And I feel like I've missed the opportunity to serve a wonderful, pure Vaishnava who definitely belongs to the spiritual world. Srila Bhakti Charu Maharaj ki jai. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Chandana. Thank you very much for that speech from your heart. And so I'm just going to call on Sundari Leela because she told me that she wanted to speak after 8 o'clock, and now the time is almost 8:25. I'm hoping Sundari Leela is here and she could join, she could speak, and after that Priyanka can speak.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thanks for giving opportunity to speak on behalf of Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj. I really miss Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj Mataji, and I want to first read my offerings to Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj, and then and I don't have anything philosophical. It is everything like I experienced with Maharaj personally. So what all I have, everything is personal with Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj. So I met Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj in 2016 in Vedic Cultural Center, Seattle. So I have a small offering. I want to read it. Hare Krishna Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj. Please accept my humble obeisances, and all glories to Prabhupada and all glories to Guru and Gauranga. Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj, the forever devoted disciple of Srila Prabhupada. You are my Siksha Guru Maharaj. From the day I met you from 2016 till today, I am attached to your kirtan and inspiring lectures. My sincere offering to you, Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj. From the day I came to know that you are ill, I started chanting more rounds and prayed for your recovery. Maharaj, without your presence, it is hard to think how can I lead my progress in Krishna consciousness and my journey in Krishna consciousness. You are such a devotee for Srila Prabhupada, and you are with him till the end of the day, of his day. You stayed with Srila Prabhupada and accepted every word which he told you, and I could always remember one of the 10 offenses, not to disobey the orders of the spiritual master. And Maharaj, you are the legendary example to follow, not to do offense, and always follow the spiritual master orders. The first order you got from Srila Prabhupada is to translate his books to Bengali, and you did it. And even today, the last order he gave it to you is not to leave Krishna conscious movement at any cost, at any circumstances. And till the end of the day, you're preaching, you're chanting, and you're the kirtans and inspiring lectures, and forever remind that you are with Srila Prabhupada, and you're always reminding of Srila Prabhupada for all of us, where we never got to see Srila Prabhupada, but you're the one who made closer to Srila Prabhupada. This is my heartfelt offering, Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj, your humble servant, Sundari Leela Devidasi.
Thank you, Sundari Leela. I saw that you have put Anish's name in there. I'm not sure if he was wanting to say something or you just put his name in there.
No, Mataji, he wants to share with you something. So
Okay.
he's coming now.
Okay.
Anish, what you want to share? Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Anish. Go ahead.
Share screen. So I did a drama in 2018 and I was really young. So they started the drama already and we just came to the temple and they were practicing the drama. And then the Shobha Mataji, so she directed the play. She's like, my mom's like the good Kishore's mother, and I'm Kishore. So Kishore's mother got sick, and with tuberculosis, and I think Kishore was living at his aunt's house. So he went to his mom. He went to his home where his mom was, and he stayed with her for some time and went back. And then a few days later, his mom passed away. So then next, a few years later, Kishore decided to go to Germany, where he would take his studies. And then he decided to go to India so he had a conversation with his friend Chuck, and then he wanted to go to India. So then he went to India, and then he remembered his mom talking about her what was it? Master. And he decided to go to her to take initiation. So he went there, and she said he's not suitable for this place. He belongs somewhere else. Oh, Ananda Mahima. Yeah, Ananda Mahima. And so then he went to I think he went to an ISKCON temple, and he read the NOD, and he got to know about Srila Prabhupada. So then he asked some members from the temple, when is the soonest time that I can meet Srila Prabhupada? And they said he was in America at that time. His thing was he goes to America in summer and comes back in, I think, winter. So then I think winter came. And then that time he couldn't meet Srila Prabhupada. So next he was just meditating on it. And as long as it got, his desire just became more and more. So then there was this, I think, Kumbh Mela? Yeah, so there's this Kumbh Mela festival. And he
And they said, the temple members said, there's Kumbh Mela. And Prabhupada's going. So then Kishore's like, can I go? And the temple devotees are like, yeah. So he goes, and then Prabhupada plans to go somewhere. And Kishore wants to travel with Srila Prabhupada. And the devotees come, and they're like, you're on the list to go with Srila Prabhupada. So he got on the train. After some time, all the devotees and Srila Prabhupada were in a compartment. And Kishore just sat down on the floor. And Srila Prabhupada's like, no, sit here. And then now Kishore got his first instruction. Translate my books into Bengali. And Kishore is like, but I'm not qualified for this. And I don't think I'm going to be able to do it. And Srila Prabhupada's like, just do it. So then he got first initiated. I forgot the name. Ksherachora Gopinath? Okay. And then when he got sannyas, he got the name, His Grace, Srila Bhakti Charu Swami. I'm done.
Thank you, Anish, so much for your way of presenting. The biography I presented in the beginning, but it was so sweet to hear you speak. I think I can hear you speak for hours and hours and hours together. You are so blessed. You are so blessed. I'm sure Maharaj blessed you too, because your mom is saying that she had many interactions with Maharaj, and so you keep up the good work, and I'm sure Krishna will shower his blessings upon you. Thank you for coming forward to share this with us. Appreciate that. I think we have one more.
I have 2 more videos to share.
I have one more reading. That is, who is speaking right now?
Sundari Leela Mataji. I have just one more video.
How long is that?
I'll just show and I'll leave.
Oh, that one.
No. My question is, how long is the video?
Video, it's for few minutes. Like it is like. No, we have those, right? No, we don't have.
Isn't it that
No, I saved
the
them.
VCC thing, right?
Yeah,
then I'll put.
I saved them here. So, this is the. Can you make it? Mataji, can you hear this?
Yeah. How many minutes video is this?
This is not. It's like he gave a personal instructions to all parents.
Hare Krishna. So please go and have prasadam.
Wonderfully progressing in this area. Of course, the credit goes to Harivilas Prabhu for that. It is because of his involvement here that is progressing so nicely, and that enacting of the progress of this movement here in Seattle was very, very enlivening and also very enlightening. Like how It started in a very small way, very humble way. In spite of so many difficulties, Krishna consciousness continued. And then Harivilas Prabhu's coming here had been the greatest boon for this Jatra. Like it is the way he committed himself and the way he guided everyone, inspired, attracted everyone, inspired everyone, spiritual life. These are all very, very wonderful, very, very wonderful achievements. Wonderful. Prabhupada will be so pleased to see how things are developing here, expanding here, progressing here in Seattle. And I must admit that I feel very fortunate to be involved here somehow. Although I haven't been able to do very much here, I've barely been able to come here and spend time. But whatever time I have spent here seemed to be very worth its while, very precious and very rewarding. And especially this visit has been very, very rewarding because this time, actually it takes time to get acquainted. And it's happening gradually. And this time I'm feeling, as if I belong to this Jatra. Thank you all so much. Hare Krishna. Please continue in your spiritual life very nicely. And if there is anything I can do to help you, please don't hesitate to let me know. Yes, I'll try to come again soon. Thank you, Hare Krishna. All glories.
Thank you so much for sharing that video.
Yeah, actually, Anish did cut off the instruction. He said, so he especially instructed parents to help.
Hare Krishna. So please go and have prasadam. 3 to 9 again we have the vegetarian international vegetarian festival down, and then 7 o'clock.
So he especially instructed parents to help kids to progress in Krishna consciousness. So
okay, that is the message, that essence of the message.
Yes, Mataji.
Okay, yeah. I guess we will hold on to that, and I will move on. Thank you so much, Sundari Leela. We'll move on with Priyanka now. She's waiting to speak. Is Priyanka there? Priyanka is there or not? I cannot hear. I don't know. Somebody is on mute. Bhakti Priya, is Priyanka going to speak?
Hare Krishna Mataji, it's not my Priyanka, it's Priyanka Mataji, I think.
Who is she? I don't see her speaking.
I'm not sure. You know Priyanka Mataji, right? She attends Sri Krishna Prabhu's Bhakti Riksha.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Okay, so it doesn't look like.
This is Shatarupa Dasi.
Yes, Shatarupa.
I don't see Priyanka Mataji online right now.
Okay.
She was some time back.
Okay, so our time is almost 8:42. Unless any one of you have something quick to say, I think this will be the end of our program for today. Anybody wants to say something?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yeah.
Mataji, I am Rajamohini Mataji.
Yes.
Yes, Mataji. I would like to speak for just 2 minutes.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm very grateful for the opportunity that I got to glorify Maharaj. Even though I don't have much very personal interactions with Maharaj, still I heard a lot from my Guru Maharaj. Recently also I heard that, the dedication what Maharaj was showing to translate all Prabhupada books in Bengali. So Maharaj was sharing that Bhakti Charu Maharaj used to sit at 1 o'clock in the midnight, start translating all the books. So for the years he did that as a service for Srila Prabhupada. Even when I read the letter from Maharaj that, Prabhupada, I am done with all the services, I am ready whenever you call. So all these show how exalted and dedicated soldier of Prabhupada he is. And once when I was carrying Uddhav, I went to Maharaj to take blessings. So Maharaj personally blessed me that, I will pray that, you will get a devotee child. And even when I was carrying Radhika also, I went to Maharaj and asked for blessings. So he was so mercifully blessing me. So I can never forget those wonderful moments which I had with Maharaj. So I really pray and beg that, one day I can please Maharaj by doing a little service in Prabhupada's movement. Thank you so much, Mataji.
Thank you so much, Braja Mohini Dasi. Before I close this, I just wanted to say one more thing. First of all, thank you all for participating on this Zoom call. And it was so wonderful to hear everyone speak and share your realizations, and it was quite enlivening. And how do we take Maharaj's instructions going forward? Now he's physically not present here, but he is with us in his spirits, and that we all know. And there is so much lessons that we have learned from his life, and we continue to understand more about him, hearing from various wonderful Vaishnavas all over the world. So many videos and so many tapes, so many things are being publicized now that we know more about Maharaj. And so, a Vaishnava never really leaves his body. Even though he left his body, he is always alive in our presence by the kind of life that he led and the example that he set for us. So today we are also supposed to distribute some prasadam. And as I announced in the very beginning, our program began by offering, and then offering that to the prasadam to the departed soul. And Dhananjay, His Grace Dhananjay Pandit Prabhu, I wanted to thank him for that. And today we will be, we have made 3 packets of prasadam. And I'm going to request 3 devotees who are living nearby the temple to kindly go and collect it from Dhananjay Pandit Prabhu. I'm going to request Braja Mohini and Shri Kishore Prabhu to go and collect, and Bhakti Priya Mataji. And if one of you can take one of those prasadam packets and give it to Reena and Shyam on my behalf, and please tell them that I had to leave, and so I'm requesting one of you to take that prasadam to their house. But for the rest of the community, we will be sending out a sign-up link. We are planning to distribute prasadam in memory of His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj, like a Sunday feast. I don't know if someone would want to sponsor, that's fine also. But in any case, we will be distributing prasadam on behalf of Maharaj. And this most probably, I think I'm assuming it is on Sunday. That's what I spoke with the devotees who are working on that. And again, it will be a touchless delivery. People can go and somebody will pack and put it in your car. It is very special. So I humbly request all of you to kindly come and receive the prasadam from the temple. That's all what I have. And once again, thank you all for participating. And I think we were pretty good on time. As I said, we were supposed to stop by 8:30. We extended it for a few minutes. And unless somebody has something to say, I'm closing this program. Anyone has anything to add?
Hare Krishna Mataji, I'm thinking to say something, but it's already time.
Who is this? Who is this?
This is Prasad Das.
Balaram Prasad Prabhu.
Yes, Mataji, I had sent a message, but maybe you did not get it. Probably it's okay.
Because I was managing this program and I couldn't see any messages.
That's all. I sent it late, Mataji. Don't worry about it. Anyway, one thing is, we I don't know, we don't have much time, but Om Agnana Timirandasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunuttamena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Maharaj, the only thing I can talk about is I did not know the Prabhupada Lilamruta and Prabhupada story. The only thing I know is from Abhaycharan tapes in my beginning of my Krishna consciousness because of Bhakti Charu Maharaj. And I am very much, any lectures for the matter, it's so sweet. And when last few years ago, I went to Vrindavan, he was giving a Krishna pastime. The hall was completely, Balaram hall was completely packed. I just sneaked in and I sat. I could not, it was, he took us directly to Vrindavan. Even though we were in Vrindavan, he took us to the real Vrindavan. That feeling I had. And Maharaj, one question somebody asked was, this even in my ears right now. He said, Maharaj asked, Maharaj, I come here for Kartik, and there are so many temples. I live in Vrindavan and I go to every temple. I don't know, I'm confused. What do I do? Do I need to go to every temple or do I need to stay? Maharaj, only thing he said is, just be in ISKCON. That means you are in Vrindavan. You can visit once in a while, but just be in ISKCON. That's it. That's what, because Prabhupada has given this. This is just be in ISKCON. Even today, it's in my ears. So I'm actually very much touched by his lectures, very much touched by his Kirtan, especially Mayapur TV. And then there are tons we can speak about, especially my spiritual master, very dear to him. Past 1 week, I was in also the japa sessions and etc. I was even chanting couple rounds for him. It's completely different scenario. He shows his purity, is so much pure Vaishnava. I don't know how much we can say. Anyway, thank you for giving me this opportunity. We really miss Maharaj. And thank you very much, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Balaram. Prabhu. Thank you all. I hope something else. Pray and thank you all.